left-wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat. In a move that sparked considerable debate, the Tennessee legislature has passed a bill allowing teachers to carry concealed guns in schools. This decision comes a year after a tragic school shooting in Nashville, which claimed 6 lives. So, Walanda, please tell our viewers about the key points of this new law.
Okay, so the bill was passed on Tuesday, and that would allow some teachers and staff to carry guns at a K-12 public institution. There are several requirements that I'll go over in place. Teachers and staff which to carry concealed handguns on campus must first maintain a valid Tennessee handgun carry permit. They also have to have written authorization from their superintendent, principal, or chief of law enforcement, and a complete background check, which I would think that teachers already have in Tennessee. Not sure about that.
I don't know.
Right? I was like, when they said that, I was like, y'all don't have background checks? But anyways, and a psychological exam given by a medical, licensed practitioner. So those are the requirements, and that's the bill. Now, they don't have to carry, but they have permission to. That's what they keep emphasizing. Like, well, they don't have to. But you got some that are going to follow this and they're going to carry and bring guns. Also, the caveat was to it is that, guess what? Parents, you ain't going to know because they don't have to tell you anything. They don't have to tell you what teachers or what staff members are carrying in their institution. That's where I felt was like, wow, you always come student, parent rights here. Well, there went your right because you will not know if your teacher has a concealed weapon on them or a staff member.
Well, I guess if you're a parent and you mad, you come up there with a gun, you can't know which ones got guns and which ones don't. So, I mean, parents are just as liable. That's risk with every person coming in there tripping. So I guess it makes sense. But I still would not, if, as a parent that's not going to come up there tripping, you right. I'll be like, my teacher have a gun on him.
Well, I may not want my kid in there. I may not want my student in there because now your child is now subjected to an additional risk.
Yeah.
That's my point, is that me as a parent, I don't know if my child's sitting in a room, somebody flips out, a gun goes off, and now my baby's dead.
Yeah.
You have an additional risk and liability that's associated to it, but you'll never know that until something happens.
The devil's playground is loving this. The NRA is loving this.
Oh, yeah.
Satan is loving this, man. Let me take it from another angle. All right, so school shootings are out of control. We know that, right? Like that's happening. So, like, what is, like with what you said there with some of the requirements. I mean, what have you if you have a decent teacher that's got the training and is good? Like, what harm isn't there that a little bit of, is there some good with that, with him being in there just in case a school shooter jumps?
Well, we're gonna talk about the advantages in a minute. So I don't want to jump the gun, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, but with that being said, and I'll piggyback on what Londa was saying. Yeah, now you got a teacher in there with a gun, K through 12. So I mean, shit. I went to J. I mean, just think of Leroy Griffin. Just we always got to bring up Leroy Griffin. Just think of Leroy Griffin. What? Leroy Griffin was the toughest nigga in jail. Let's go put it out there.
Nobody fucked with him.
Yeah, let's say Leroy Griffin overpowered the algebra teacher. Mr. Buckholz had a gun on him and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I am not involved in this.
We be in trouble, dog.
Because I don't want this man coming to find me.
It is some niggas out there that you did not want to have a gun in John Jay High School, period.
Manhandling teachers and shit. Okay.
Leroy Griffin, John Woods, they just all jumped on Mr. Buckholz and got the gun, dog. We all in trouble, man. Everybody in trouble. Shout out to John Woods, Pastor John Woods, man.
Oh, my God. So, let me just go ahead and get into it then, man. What you were already going to touch on it, but what are some of the advantages of having guns in schools?
I just go back to a situation, maybe, and I just try to, touch on Uvalde because that's kind of close to my heart and that was close to home. But I say that, what happens if that teacher would have had a gun in there? And when the student turned his back, he was able to use it. I mean, that's a pretty positive thing. Maybe that deterrent that would deter people from shooting up schools. Like, you don't know who's got a gun in there now. So now I'm not going to go shoot up school because I think a lot of what happens in schools is they know there's not a threat of them really getting shot, or there's a minimum threat of that happening. You got like a security guard there, maybe off duty policemen, 1 or 2 of them. So if, they can get in there, they know it's a strong possibility that they can do as much damage as they can do before they get taken care of, eliminated or even confronted. So now you don't know. Janitor might have a gun. I mean, anybody might have a gun. You know what I'm saying? He said, look at the janitor. He's like, hell no.
She said, oh, shit, my janitor?
The school nurse.
I love my staff. But
hey, the shop teacher might, the shop teacher's going to be packing. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. He's probably already packing. Like, all right, you know what I'm saying?
Making new accessories in class. And
shit he got a goddamn silencer on here. Smoking people and shit. We made this in shop class. You know what I'm saying? So nah, man. And I'll be honest with you, we were saying it, and I was starting to see some positive things that could come out of it. Like, if it's done right, it may make sense. Now,
I actually like a lot of the things that the bill is the mandatory things that you have to. I love the psychological test.
Yeah.
Background. I don't, like you said, I don't know. Maybe they should already have one, but hey, they doing it. Like, and if they don't, now you're going to do one. You know what I mean? So I like the fact that they have like a lot of things in there to help make sure that this is done the right way. If you're going to have a gun, let's make sure these steps are taken. Like, I mean, you work in the education, field. Do you see any positives from having the guns?
I like the psychological exam, but keep in mind, guys, like we have I don't know what's happening, but mental health is a real thing that is happening to our kids and our staff members. And I'm just thinking about the things that I read in the news still right now. Like we still got issues with, adults with inappropriate relationship with kids. And now I got a gun involved in this too. So now I got somebody having an inappropriate relationship with a child. I don't know if this person is able to have a gun on them as well. Now he's scared of kids. I guess I just go down a rabbit hole.
You're trying to shift to the bad
side.
So let's just go ahead and go there. Let's tell us about the things that you see in negatives.
The negative too.
Because you don't see no positives, obviously.
I don't like, but again, I'm not for guns.
What are the negatives?
Gun violence is the leading killer. Listen, leading killer of children in the United States. So you want to put more guns in a situation where more kids are. It doesn't make sense to me because statistics are saying that it's going to get worse when you bring in more guns, just from statistics. So far, we have 436 children under the 18 years of age that have been killed by gun violence this year. So now we're like barely into April. So we've already had quite a few students that have died due to gun violence. Again, under the bill, parents will not be notified that their teacher's carrying. I don't agree with that. I think we should divulge that information. I think I have a right as a parent to know if someone has a gun because, again, I'm somebody who would be like, I don't want my kid in there. But they wouldn't have that. That's suppressed information from them. And again, you can't put rainbows on your desk, but you can carry a gun in Tennessee. This is crazy to me. I don't understand it. I really don't. And again, especially with it being a leading cause of death of kids, I'm just going to put them in a situation now where they're more likely to die because they are going to be surrounded by more guns. So
how does that play? Like, how do school shootings play into that leading cause of death? Like, what
do you mean? Like how many?
Like, isn't the leading cause of death because we have so many school shootings?
It's just guns in general. It'll just say like the statistics is about guns. But we know we have still an issue with, like I said, Uvalde just happened. It's been 2 years now. Mm-hmm. On there, but there's already been just a recent one not too long ago. And do understand, most of our districts, I have an officer on my campus that has a weapon, but I feel comfortable in that because, again, that is his job field, right? Most people don't go into education because they want to carry a gun to work. That's not what we're there for. We're an educational institution. I rely on my officer to do those kind of things and protect us. I don't rely on my staff members to do so. I want them to focus on education. And I think it's hard to do that. Yeah. I don't know. I think it would be very difficult because now you have a dual job, and that's not what you were hired for.
Well, but and they also said the teachers can choose if they want to do that.
True. Okay. Case in point, that is correct.
But what if with Tennessee, we look a couple years down the line and they show that the deterrence of teachers having guns really dropped the case of school shootings, and that also dropped the death with children. You know what I'm saying? With gun violence being there, and that's kind of where I'm coming from with it. Is that like maybe if they know that, hey, man, I don't know who got a gun up there. I'm not going to go up to shoot up the school because, you know, Mr. Johnson may be packing, you know what I'm saying? And I have no idea. What happens if that deterrence is actually a good thing? Mm-hmm. Now, and like I said, I'm just trying to also look at what good may come of it.
Right.
But I also, too, think it's crazy to put guns in that environment. And not only because of the mental capability of the teacher, but you say K through 12. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you get to high school, them kids is as big as teachers. I mean, you got football players. You got all kinds of stuff. Now they have access to guns that they may be able to take off of a smaller teacher that made the decision to pack one. Mm-hmm. Or there's a instance to where a student and the teacher is arguing. Gun gets pulled out. There's a wrestle and a struggle, and now somebody accidentally gets shot. Maybe the teacher gets shot, and that kid's now ruined for life. Maybe this teacher shoots him, and he's ruined for life, whatever. So I see the negativity in it, but I also want to look at the fact that, hey, maybe if there's an idea of the fact that your teacher might be packing, then maybe that takes people out of the simple fact of thinking they can just walk up in the schools and start shooting them.
It's a deterrent, exactly. And don't get me wrong, there's external, but like you said, as you get older, I think sometimes, I hate to say this, but I think our threats sometimes are within the school system. They're not coming from the outside, they're coming inside. So that just makes me worry. Like you said, the older they get. As they're younger, no, I don't see that. But as you get older, if you've seen secondary, like you said, some of these kids look like grown men and grown women in general. And again, mental health, I mean, it just scares me, just the things that we're dealing with the mental health of students and just everybody in general that needs that type of assistance. And now we're bringing in guns into the equation. I think we need to get one under control before we start doing that.
I think that there's pros and cons to it, right, on both sides. And I'm glad that we're having a conversation about both sides of that, because anytime you start to execute on a new idea, there's going to be opportunities for you to improve it. And to your point, like maybe there's data that comes out of it that says, hey, this is decreasing that. But also at the same time, if we have concerns, and hopefully we don't have any type of business case that this happens where we can use it as an example. But as we start to learn, we might start to say, hey, instead of having them conceal carry, because like maybe a kid does overpower a teacher and take their gun, why not have the gun somewhere hidden in the classroom in a gun safe? Where like, okay, you can't just pull it out if a shooter comes in, but if a shooter comes into school and you know that, you can go to that secure place where no kid can get it, where it's hidden, get your gun out, and then be prepared in your classroom waiting just in case that fool comes in there. You know what I'm saying? Like there's other things you can do to mitigate risk, and there's maybe even opportunities to add to that idea to make it better.
With you saying that, it does say that the weapons cannot be carried openly. So they can't be like wearing it on their waistband like it's the Wild Wild West. Like in stadiums and gymnasiums, you can't carry as well. So you can't have it. And in large auditoriums, so if you're having like a game or something, you can't carry in those areas. So there is some.
You can carry?
You cannot.
No, but you said in the first situation, you said they're not allowed to carry at all.
Carried openly. Okay, so you can't carry it on your person.
So it can't be carried openly. It could be hidden and carried.
Yes.
Okay, so it could be concealed carry.
Concealed carry.
But not open carry.
Not open carry.
That's different than having it in a gun safe somewhere where nobody can get it. Because if it's concealed and I grab you, I'm like, oh shit, I feel a gun.
Yeah.
I might take it from you. So I'm saying that maybe they start to look at it from, okay, we don't want concealed carry either because there's a risk of somebody,
grabbing you.
Leroy Griffin taking his gun.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas maybe we could just go ahead and have it in a concealed place in the classroom that's locked.
Gotcha.
Locked away. And then if it happens, go to that location, get your gun, and be prepared for the
There's
the threat.
no that wasn't
that eliminates the risk of like
right.
kids finding it, kids taking it, and shit like that.
I also like you can't bring the gun in when you're dealing with disciplinary matters.
Yeah,
so
don't do
that. Yeah, because I was first thing everybody get mad.
I heard that you wasn't doing your goddamn math homework.
So no discipline.
Paddle of detention.
I think I paddle.
You gonna put a Glock right there, bro?
Yeah, right.
Which one you want, dog? Paddle of detention.
You know you done fucked up, right?
Which one?
Look, you know you done fucked up,
You know you
right?
fucked up.
And you done fucked up if you ain't pressed that like button. All right? And make sure that you subscribe to Left Wing Kingz and share this on all of your social media platforms. So, Walanda, I'm going to get to the comments in a minute here, Tina. I'm going to jump through these questions real quick, but Wanda, the Metro Nashville Public Schools is not going to allow their teachers or staff members to carry concealed weapons on its campuses. So why did they make that decision?
I would definitely say just everything that we just covered on here. Like you said, the liability is really high. And I don't think people understand that we as educators actually carry insurance as well, or choose not to. I'm thinking it's just the liability that would just throw you through the roof. If something happens, I mean, this is not just people's job. This is people being sued personally. Because just imagine if somebody takes your baby out accidentally, and then now the district is going to be responsible as well. So really the biggest thing is liability. They don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want it.
Y'all been in that. Nashville is gangster. So is Memphis. Like, there's about 25 Leroy Griffins in their high schools, man. Like they ain't gonna risk that. Not no Nashville. No. Shoot, Nashville goes hard, man. But it's funny, and you might be getting to this, but I was, we definitely know there's a problem when it comes to school shootings and doing all that. And my solution was also, I don't see why the government or the local government, like, they don't just dispatch and have a police presence there. And I'm not saying like, you have one somewhat, but I mean like an actual, almost like a mini station at some of these schools.
In some districts, we have our own, we have our own, without me disclosing where I work. But anyways, we have our own, we have a captain, we have a chief of police. So we have those things. But do understand, once again, just like the teacher shortage, there is an officer shortage as well. Mm-hmm. So, and some school systems probably can't afford it. I mean, it's quite a bit of money as well. But most larger districts, I'll tell you right now, have their own police force.
Like, what if, and this might sound like Wild Wild West or something, but what if the solution ain't just like, hey, man, you can pack your gun and conceal it, but maybe more of a, in that situation, hey, we got like a police presence here. Mm-hmm. Some of you teachers can volunteer to be kind of like deputies or whatever. We're going to train y'all in that deal, in law enforcement somewhat. To where you could do that. I mean, I'm just trying to come up with some solutions.
No, I hear you. Solution based. It's just very frustrating. Again, was when people come, just like when anybody picks their major. Like I wouldn't be. I gotta have a dual major, so I gotta be into education, but I like law enforcement too. So I might have to kill somebody, but I want to teach you about some history or some civics. Well, I guess that's my mindset from that. Is that you have a dual role, and I don't know if that's fair to put on somebody. And they don't get paid enough.
I don't think that they have to do it. I think you're saying like
even
kind of like voluntary. Yeah. But it's the same thing with carrying a gun. You have to, if you're going to carry a gun in Tennessee, there are requirements. So that's just I think that you have more rigor around that requirement to say, now we're going to train you fully to be a damn you me policeman. If you want to carry a gun up in here, you're going to get full training to be an officer, just like a regular officer would get. Now, I don't know if that don't come with more pay or whatever, but solutions oriented, just saying, hey, great, you can carry a gun and here's some training classes, or damn it, you gonna put on a uniform now, fool, and you a teacher. And you gonna be able to now, do you get more money or whatever? That's what I'm saying. That's a whole other conversation. Yeah. But solutions oriented, really, man.
Yeah,
I mean
touche on that. I just know the liability is too high. And I'm gonna tell you like this, when it comes to an individual getting in trouble with the district will be like, that's a decision you made. You decided that you wanted to carry, and so here we are.
I can see a policeman being a health teacher.
So,
like, nigga, you'll die if I hit you with this bullet. So hey, there's your health lesson for the day. So this is a big thing, man. Like you said, this bill is just in Tennessee, but how might it impact like other schools in other states and help with battling gun violence?
Man, don't give Greg Abbott no ideas.
Yes.
Don't give Greg a DeSantis no ideas, bruh.
Mm-hmm. We next.
Mm-hmm. We next, man. And like I said, and trying to really put a positive spin on it, I was trying to do here also. But, I don't see it being good if Texas comes here because Greg Abbott just knows how to make that horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some way.
He don't go the right way about shit, do he?
DeSantis, everybody has that issue and fear. We want to end people coming in and shooting up schools. And there's a lot of ways. I just think that it'd be good to have a conversation. But, I think that when it falls on some of these governors that are maybe in red states and they have other agendas, they sit in the pocket of NRA, things of that nature, I just think it doesn't work out positively. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see the same thing in Texas, but you don't need any of those qualifications. You just can carry a gun.
Right.
We can
Or they
already
take out the psychological test.
Yeah,
or
we
some
can
shit.
already open carry and all that stuff here.
Yeah.
So I can already see that, okay, let's take everything that we require you to, and hey, if you're a teacher, you can just bring a gun up here.
Yeah.
Don't have to tell us, don't have to have
Yeah.
no training or nothing. And I can see that coming. And the reason I bring the NRA involved, because end of the day, in the story, they're going to always get behind something and finance something that's going to be able to put more guns in there regardless if people are dying or not. So I can see governors that are really influenced by the NRA pushing that bill and doing that. Some of the solutions we came up here with came with training. They're coming with,
Psychological tests.
tests. We care about your kids, but I know some people out there that just, they'll look at that money influence over that and let some crazy stuff get in your schools, and it wouldn't work. Next thing you know, like you say, now we're having some of the nightmares that we had, where a teacher done turned and they're holding their kids hostage because they're able to take a concealed gun in there, or like you said, a student gets in there and gets the gun away from people, and he just goes on a shooting spree. And it's ways to prevent that, and also protect our children from the ongoing onslaught of these school shootings that are going on. And I think that's where we're trying to get to, and just come up with a solution for that. So.
Yeah.